So I want to talk about something else that keeps coming up in the comment section and clarify something. Two things can be true at the same time. Alexee has her role that she's guilty of when it came to the baby's death, and somebody else can also have played a role in the baby's death. And there's plenty out there to talk about her guilt in the court of public opinion and everything else. So we're actually going to talk about the other end of it. Is nobody mad that the hospital did not attempt resuscitation on this baby? At all. And this whole thing, well, the baby was already dead. The baby was a corpse. You know, the baby had already been dead for some time. I want to point you guys, first of all, to these news articles. Check this out. So as you can see from these articles, these are all articles of babies that have been tied up in garbage bags, tied up, not just thrown in the trash. They were tied up in garbage bags and survived. Baby India, that's now coming back to surface again 4 years ago. We all remember that video of the cop ripping apart that bag. And then you have the 8-month-old in Elmira, New York. 8 months. She was tied in a garbage bag for 3 days. 3 days tied up in a bag and survived. So for everybody sitting here saying, well, they knew the baby was dead, especially this whole thing about the temperature being cool. Come on now. First of all, body temperature due to death occurs hours after death. So the baby being cool or cold or whatever had absolutely nothing to do with the baby dying and everything to do with the fact that it was a newborn who could not yet regulate its body temperature. So there's that. The other thing that I need to know about, people are commenting saying that New Mexico law says that they could not attempt to resuscitate this baby after its death. First of all, time of death had not been called. We all know that. They had just found the baby. Second of all, please, somebody tell me, show me if I'm not finding it. Maybe I'm just ignorant to it. But if there is a law that says they could not resuscitate that baby, please put it down in the comments and let's talk about it, because I think that is just a bunch of bullshit. I'm not going to say with 100% certainty how I would act in a situation like this, but what I do know is that I would have attempted to save this baby's life. No matter where I found this baby, how I found this baby, if there was even a slightest possibility that life could be brought back or that the baby may have just passed or maybe wasn't fully dead, I would be attempting to resuscitate this baby. Because at the end of the day, I'm not worried about somebody suing me or coming after me for attempting to save that life, because I'm protected under the Good Samaritan Act. So there's that. Look it up. This was a hospital. We are quick to point out that because it was a hospital, Alexee had the option to get some help for her baby. But because it was a hospital, they had the option to help. The baby had people there who could try to help it. We will never, ever, ever know if this baby could have been saved, because not a damn person did their job and tried to save that baby. Okay, so now I have a question. What if the baby was still alive, or at least had a heartbeat? What if he had a pulse or a heartbeat when he was still on that table? Are we ever going to actually know the answer to that question? Because according to the doctor, nobody touched the baby. So if nobody touched the baby, or as she said it, the temperature was cool, how do we not know if that baby did or did not have a pulse? I mean, did we just look at the baby and determine that it was lifeless, it had no signs of life? And you can't just listen, if they could just look at a body and say there was no signs of life, then why are we attacking Alexee, who says that the baby was dead when she put it in the garbage can? I'm just saying. I mean, think about that. If we could just look at a baby and say, nope, no signs of life, then maybe she looked at the baby and said, no signs of life. I mean, the autopsy did say that the baby had hypoxia, and we do know that signs of hypoxia are no movement, or the baby being lethargic, bluish or pale skin, weak or no cry. Was the baby hypoxic while it was still sitting on that table? Did the baby die while everybody was walking around and taking their sweet little time and not attempting life-saving measures? I guess we're never going to know.